Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Ink It Up tutorial, we're going to create Rainbow of Happiness cards. We're going to use this new Rainbow of Happiness stamp set by Stampin' Up. It's going to be available to demonstrators very soon. I was able to get it because I attended an on-stage event and was able to order it early. But for customers, you'll have to wait till January 4th when this mini catalog goes live. This Rainbow of Happiness has some coordinating products with it. Okay, I want to show you one of those right now because that's what we're going to be using for our cards. And there's dies, and I'll show you those a little bit later. I used some other things from this catalog. The paper that coordinates with this is a Sale-A-Bration item. It means that you can earn it for free starting January 4th as a customer and December as a demonstrator. When you spend $50, this paper will be free. The paper is called Sunshine and Rainbows. I'm going to go through the paper right now. Then I'm going to show you a sneak peek of a couple of the cards we'll make, or styles of cards, because no two cards are ever alike. And then I'll show you the rest of the cards later in this tutorial. Why am I mentioning that demonstrators can get it December 1st? Why am I mentioning that on this particular day? Well, because as of today, it's November 30th, and or it's the last day, I should say. November 30th is the last day of this special where you can sign up to be a demonstrator for only $75. So one of the many benefits is to be able to get the discount on products, and another one is to be able to get things early. I love that I can get things before others. So like it's called a pre-order. So that's pretty fun. Anyway, we have a $75 special where you get to pick out $125 worth of items. So that's why I'm mentioning it right now. Let me just go through this. Sunshine and Rainbows, designer series paper. Now I'm going to just show you the coordinating colors as I show you my ink pads that we'll be working with today, because the ink I chose was because of the colors in this paper. And then I did a lot of experimentation, and I always say I did a lot of experimentation so you don't have to, and you can use the colors I chose and the methods I chose. It was a big hot mess when I inked it up and tried to make some rainbows and deciding which colors to use, whether to off stamp or not. I'll get into all that. And then what I did is I was able to just use loads and loads of these papers as the backgrounds and really highlight the paper. So I actually had bigger pieces. I actually had like card bases originally. I mean, not card bases, but big layers for the front. And then I was like, oh, that's not highlighting the papers enough. So I just kept cutting them down. I think I've repeated this. I kept cutting down the designer series paper to see more of it. Then I was like, let me cut it down some more to see more of the designer series paper. So this is kind of what we're going for here. And I made a lot of them with different styles. So I'm going to show you a couple of them now. I'll show you I have a whole big pile here. And I'll show you more later because I want to get into the products. But this is kind of the final concept I sort of came up with was this. And so, like, these are the colors I came up with. Actually, this one shows more of the designer series paper. It gives you more of a background. But it doesn't matter if you don't want more of a background. Then you have this design. So these are the exact same card. These are the exact same card, believe it or not. Same exact products used in the card. Same mats and layers. Same card card bases. So let's put those there as a reference for a moment. We'll start pulling them here. We'll put those. Let me move some of it. Let me do this because I want to make sure these are in the camera the whole time. So I can actually use them as my reference myself. All right. So now what you're going to do is believe it or not, I think, well, I don't want to say believe it or not because maybe I used more than one. I think this was just one sheet of paper. We're going to make all these cards with one sheet of cardstock. If not, it was maybe two, but you're really going to get a lot out of your cardstock. So I'm using right now, not the thick one. I'm not using the thick basic white because the thick basic white is a waste if you're going to use these mats and layers. Like if you're going to take your paper and you're going to stamp on it and then put designer series paper behind it and another piece of designer series paper, right? And you're going to use this basic white inside the card. You wouldn't want to use the thick basic white cardstock where there's 24 in a pack. You want to get packs of that for your cards themselves. So of course I do use thick basic white. Let me show you when I would use it. The only time I would use thick basic white is when I'm making the cards themselves. So I did make a couple of these cards using thick basic white as that. When my dies give me a hard time, and some dies are so basically I just use this one. So I have much more of this one, 40 pack, and here's the product number, than I do the thick one. But I put thick ones in your kits and I put regular ones in your kits depending on, when I say kits, I do have a lot of kits and different things I do. Anyway, there's my website to shop for these things. So with that said, this is the basic white, not the thick basic white. Okay, basic white. All right, so let's just keep it simple. You can do either or. So you see how these are the same length? Okay, the same length. So we have, I'm going to get my cheat sheet here, 4.25, yeah, 4 1/4. So you got 4 1/4 inches or 4 1/4 inches, right? We got the same thing going on, these, right? And either one is going to be 4 1/4 by 3 inches, this one, right? That one's 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And the other one is 4 1/4 by 2 inches. So whatever I'm doing today, you can do on either paper. And then you can stamp the same exact thing. See, this is the same scene. It barely fits on this paper. So if we mess it up, that means we just do 3 when we make our rainbow. I like to start with the biggest rainbow. It means that I'm just going to do 3, meaning if I mess it up and I can't get this 4th one in there, or that's why I start with the biggest one first. Then I just go, oops. Then I just do 3 rainbows, or three, I guess they're called rainbow, 3 arches, okay? Yes, the stamps get stained when you use some Magenta Madness ink and stuff. We'll talk about all the ink in a minute. Okay, what you want to do for these is don't try to stretch them. You need to let them do their natural angle and put them with the flat side up. So lay it there like that. Just lay it on your paper, flat side up, and then mount your stamping block to it like this. Right? Because now it's not like you're trying to manipulate the rainbow, the arch. So now we're going to be doing some stamping. See how it barely fits on this one? Barely, like that. This one must be 2 in it. Nope, that's 2. Okay, yeah. Oh, because I stretch, yeah. If you stretch it out, you can make it a little shorter. I might have done that. I might have done this to make it a tiny bit shorter. If you want to. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it bigger and I'll get it go off the bottom. But if you want to make it shorter, I think that's what I did because I used a Stamparatus at first. Shorter, you would stretch it out. But we're not going to do all the stretching out. So let me just show you the ink now, since it is an Ink It Up tutorial. What's my Ink It Up tutorial? It means I'm going to just, in my Ink It Up tutorials, I show you stamping techniques. Flirty, these are all the coordinating colors with the Designer Series paper. So you'll see me using these when I open these later. Flirty Flamingo. Okay, we'll use that later. This was Pool Party. We'll use this soon. Pool Party we're going to use soon. Soft Sea Foam. We're going to use that soon. Granny Apple Green. We used that. We did use that. We used both of that or the sea foam, but that worked out better. Mango Melody. We use Mango Melody for this little part. And here, Magenta Madness. Okay, we're going to use this one later. Bermuda Bay. Misty Moonlight, we're going to use that later. It is a rainbow card after all. So Saffron, we'll use this one later. And we'll use Petal Pink later. So these are for later. And these are for our rainbow. Okay? So let's do the big part of our rainbow first. And you can get a silicone mat. Helps you when you're stamping. And let's take this and let's take the Pool Party. And even when I tried to do this with, that's the Pool Party. I tried to do this with Bermuda Bay and I found that it was just way too dark. Okay, so I ended up using Pool Party. Even Pool Party is too dark. Check that out. It's kind of too dark, right? But it's not too dark when you do the off stamping. Okay, off stamping is also known as second generation stamping. Isn't that cool? So second generation stamping is when you make a lighter rainbow. So it's okay to use Pool Party regular or Pool Party second generation. Either one is fine, but don't. Bermuda Bay just came out super dark. Okay, see? So I'll do some of each. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's do a second generation one for this one. We'll stamp off, wax on, wax off, stamp on, stamp off. So for this one, because I didn't stretch out my rainbow, I had to, go over a little bit. All right, so why is she doing so many? Because this is how I roll. Just because I'm on a video doesn't mean I'm going to do things differently. I don't make just one card. I do make one card when I'm prototyping. Don't worry about that. You can cover that up with an embellishment later. If I'm prototyping, I do maybe make one card. But when I'm making actual cards, after I figure out what design I want to make, right? I actually just make a bunch of cards at once. And these cards made me very happy. They made me happy to make. And each time you make one, you're thinking, oh, who can I give this to? Who needs some cheering up? This is a rainbow. You can use it any time of year. See, sometimes I'm doing it straight on there, and sometimes I'm doing it off stamp. All right, so we're done with the pool party. I mean, we're pretty much done with the, let me look at one of my cards here for a second. Yeah, we're done with the pool party for the whole card. That's the pool party. That's the pool party, okay? Now we're going to do the Magenta Madness because we do the next arch next. Sending you a rainbow of happiness. For this one, you want to get the arch right, and you want it to be under this arch. So, again, wash your stamps later. I'm going to put it all over there out of the camera. You can still use your big one, and you're going to take your, instead of putting this straight onto my stamping block, I think a better way would be to stick it onto my card itself, like with the flat side up, to make sure I got the arch right. The arc. Arc de Triomphe. Here, let's use a dark one just to get the arc right. Just to make sure, because you may, you know, these stamps, they're photopolymer. That means you can manipulate the stamps. And sometimes I did, you know, when I was using, so I want to make sure I got that arch right. Arc. Okay, there you go. So now that I got it right, I've used it flat side up and I've mounted it onto my card. Now I can go ahead and do all the Magenta Madness. And this was the ink I already had out. Again, another coordinating color. This is one of the ink colors. This is so juicy. So that's why I chose not to put this as one of my rainbow arches. Arcs. Okay, I put it instead as one of my sentiment because it was so juicy. Always test your sentiment down there. Test it. Make sure you get a good, you're getting a good stamp. So I thought it'd be better as a sentiment. The nice thing about photopolymer stamps is being able to see through. Okay, our card is shaping up. No, I didn't use the Stamparatus. There's no point in the Stamparatus is not a good thing to use when you're doing off stamping or second generation stamping. You have to keep putting paper inside there to get the ink off of it. I didn't want it to be too dark. I did use the Stamparatus when I did my prototypes. That was me testing. It took me about 5 color combinations to get this color combination right. So yeah, the Stamparatus, what is that? It's a great stamp positioning tool. But it's a waste of, it's like when you're trying to do second generation stamp, you got to keep putting paper underneath it. I find this, first of all, I like doing it this way. It's fun. And there's clear, the stamping block is clear, so it's so easy to arrange these stamps in the right order. But at the Stamparatus, you see how I'm using different kinds of paper? Then I would have had to, like, which I did, I had to mark off where am I putting the paper each time. But now I can take all these different size papers, and because I'm doing it, I think it just works out better. So sometimes the Stamparatus works if you're doing all the same card with the same piece of paper. Like if you have the same card base, card layer, these things. These are called matting and layering. It's called matting and layering a card. I'm going to show you how to mat and layer your card. So this would be called a layer. And you know, when you have that, you just, there you go. All right. So that's it. So that's all. Now we're going to go Magenta Man. Yeah, Misty is one of these other ones, right? It's one of the other stamp positioning tools brands. But Stamparatus has the only one with the hinge method. This is what we're using next, Magenta Madness. Let me get rid of the inks as we're done using them, because I'm done using. Just so you're caught up. We did Pool Party, then we did Magenta Madness. I'll have the links to all the colors I used in the description. I just need to get them out of there as I'm done using them so I don't get confused. Now we're using, here, Mango Melody, another coordinating color. And we're going to put the Mango Melody down. We're going to take this one off. I like using this, well, I could start using smaller stamp blocks. Actually, I just needed the big stamping block. Which one was that? I like using a big one. E, that was stamping block E. I like using big stamping blocks. I like our stamping blocks because they have these big ridges on the side. Stamping block D will get you pretty far though. So now let's take out this one and let's do the next one. We're going to do Mango Melody with this one. And we're going to put it there on the card first to make sure we get the right arc. Lay it flat side up. Put it on there. Make sure it's good. Yep, it's good. Oh, by the way, if you get a bad result with your stamps when you first start out, you need to condition them. Conditioning stamps means that you need to use them a few times. You're not going to get the results I have the first couple times. It's going to start smearing and look all blotchy. And blotchy means kind of like, do you see the blotches there? You're going to get all kinds of blotches your first time. So condition your stamps by using them. You know, stamp onto other pieces of paper. You can use Versamark. Versamark will help you condition your stamps. That's a clear, sort of translucent paper. Not paper, it's translucent ink. And it sinks into your, it soaks into your stamps. So, you see why I chose this one? This one reminds me of like sun rays. So that's why I chose this color. So saffron was too light. I wanted a sort of, this is nice because it's an orangey color. So this is exactly how I made all the stack of cards I'm showing you. Once I finally figured it out, with a couple experiments thrown in there, I did them all at once. Cut all the papers, stamped them all at once, washed my hands, then started cutting all the designer series paper for the layers. Then I mixed and matched. Oh, well, this is my card base, so this will be a better piece of paper to contrast with the card base, etc., etc. So that's exactly how I did it. Okay, we're done with the Mango Melody. Okay, and now our next color we're going to need is the Soft Seafoam. I tried Granny Apple Green. Granny Apple Green worked okay, but I ended up having to use Soft Seafoam because Granny Apple Green was too dark of a green. So we'll see. We're going to open up the Soft Seafoam, and it looks like it would be really light from the wrapper. We're going to now use this next rainbow. We skipped this rainbow and this rainbow because this rainbow was the same as this, and this rainbow was the same as that. See? That's why we didn't need these solid rainbows. But there's some cards where I use those solid rainbows, so you're going to get to see those too. Okay, so now let's put this one there. So we're going to go like that, put the arc in there. There's a little bit of dust on it. If it starts putting it, yep, there's a piece of dust. That was from me trying to dry it. Just let him air dry, because otherwise, if you try to use something like your clothes to dry it, like I did, then you end up with some lint on there. All right, so let's try it. I think I did an off stamp. Let's try it. No, maybe not. Okay, let me look. Let me look at my originals. No, I don't think I need to off stamp because it was such a light green. But when I did it with the Granny Apple Green, I did have to off stamp. If you have a very juicy ink pad, you're going to have to off stamp or you know, stamp off, meaning stamp off with the paper and then stamp on. So let's put that over there. I do have another time we use Magenta Madness later with the little hearts. But that's not for now. We had to do the arch before we do the hearts. So it's up to you what colors you use. But my advice is if you're going to use the designer series paper I showed you, then you want to use colors which coordinate with those papers. That's the beauty of our Stampin' Up! Products. And like I said, you can get, so for the sign up special we have going on, $75, you can pick out $125 worth of items. And then starting December 1st, if you joined November 30th, you get the $125 worth of items for only $75. You get free shipping. And then December 1st, you can start ordering out of these catalogs. You can order the stuff at a 20% discount, December 1st. And you can earn Sale-A-Bration items. So this paper, the Sunshine and Rainbows paper, will be free for you, because you can then start earning Sale-A-Bration items, because we're not only allowed to start getting things from that catalog, we can start earning free items. Okay, let's take this little guy off. And now we need Magenta Madness again. I'm going to put this ink away and pull out the Magenta Madness. And that was the best one, I thought, for the hearts. For the little tiny hearts. So I'm going to open up the Magenta Madness again. But you have to do things in order when you're making a rainbow so that the hearts go in the right place. Here, let's use small stamping block. Which hearts? The tiny little hearts. See how the Magenta Madness stains everything? So you're just going to put that on there. Here, you can either put it flat down, stick it to there, and then you're going to touch, just make sure you try your hearts first to make sure they're not upside down. Because you can't tell, it's kind of a blob. So there you go. See how it's shaping up? Our rainbow is shaping up. Don't try to stamp over something if you mess up a little. That's what an embellishment's for. You know, or just stamp again. But don't try to stamp over something again, because it's like you never get the same spot twice unless you're using a Stamparatus. Yep, so like I said, I started out with a Stamparatus, and in the end, I just was like, never mind. I'm trying to do off stamping. I'm trying to do different colors. I was like, never mind. I just ended up going for this way method of using stamping blocks. Okay, now we're really done with the Magenta Madness, and I'm not going to use that stamping block again because there's too much ink on it to wash off, even with a baby wipe. So we'll use a different stamping block. So now we'll just use this stamping block, and now we're going to take we're going to do some fun coloring. But first, before we do the coloring, we have to put the sentiments on first. So let's take, now I can use the baby wipes a little bit to clean these. So let's take, when you're doing sentiments, it's good to have some stabilization. And I think it's better to use like sort of bigger stamps. So let's take the Bermuda Bay, bigger ink blocks, I mean. These things, stamping blocks. Okay, wiping off it on my pants. Okay, so let's, here's another, here we can actually use one of these. We can use this stamping block here. It says, you make this world a better place. Okay, that's what we're doing now. We're doing, you make this world a better place. Because the whole point of this kind of card is to encourage someone. So it already says, sending you a rainbow of happiness. Now we're telling them, you make this world a better place. Who wouldn't love that encouraging message, right? So now, we're going to do that in Bermuda Bay. So always take your darkest colors and always stamp off onto your mat. And you're going to do your darkest colors for your sentiments and your lighter colors for your rainbows. So can you guess what my customer appreciation cards are going to be this month? Not that I ever make the same ones twice, but I think I may be giving these away. I like to send homemade cards or something crafty or some craft products to my customers. It's always a surprise. I never know. But this one, I think this time they're going to get something this month made from this set, because look at me rocking and rolling and making lots of cards. This is going to make up for all the turkey I ate. And okay, so better place. So place got messed up. So all you need to do when it gets messed up is you need to take it, stamp it in another color, and cut out the little piece and put it over the top of it. Or the same color if you want. So you're just going to stamp it onto something else, cut out the word place and fix it. Or you could try to tape off the rest of this and just try to get the P in there. Ink it up with a marker, but don't try to stamp over it. You're never going to stamp right over that. Just doesn't happen. Can't, unless you have a Stamparatus. But you see, that's what embellishments are for. That's what, so many ways to fix a card. All right, so now we need the last, okay, so we're done with, let me see if we're done with Bermuda Bay. Done with Bermuda Bay altogether, but we need now our Flirty Flamingo. Flirty Flamingo, it's good to have that color because that's also a color in the Paper Pumpkin this month. Flirty Flamingo, we're going to open that up. We're doing the other sentiment with Flirty Flamingo. When you use all the colors in your palette, the nice part about using all the colors is then when I go to do my designer series paper later, do I have to worry? No. I know that something in this card is going to coordinate with something in the paper because I'm using every color in the palette. So I don't have to worry. Okay, let's do Flirty Flamingo. We'll use the stamping block B, and we'll make another encouraging sentiment. The encouraging sentiment's going to say, a little something to brighten your day. Okay, we're going to put that down, face up, and never deviate from the rules of stamping onto something first, because you will be sorry if you don't. You're going to end up with upside down sentiments, and your stamp's not going to be conditioned right, meaning if you don't get that first bit of ink on there and try stamping onto paper first, it might not come out right. So that's why I do the first stamp of the day after I wash it and everything onto another piece of paper, because maybe link got stuck on there. Maybe you're upside down. Maybe your stamp doesn't have enough conditioning. So I think stamps get better with age for the most part. They start working better. Because at the beginning, I wasn't happy with my results. But now I'm very happy because it's coming out much smoother. It was these rainbows were coming out blotchy, even when I was doing the second stamping. They were coming out blotchy. Now, you are going to have to do some overstamping. I'm stamping onto the rainbow a bit when you use these smaller pieces, which you don't have to do, of course, on the bigger pieces. Okay, now we're done with the Flirty Flamingo for good. We're done with that for now. No, I mean, not for good for this project. And let's do, all right, so I didn't have to use, this one I didn't have to use because I used it sometimes for that. So we could use this for the inside if you wanted to. So we'll use that for the inside of the card. How about that? You make me happy. We'll use that one for you make me happy. So that way we use all the colors. But for the outside of the card, this is what I did. I started out sort of with the So Saffron. So Saffron's a nice nice yellow color. It was too light for the rainbow, but it worked out nice for this little shape. So let's pull this off and use a baby wipe because now I'm starting to get into where I need to use my stamping blocks again. Okay, and baby wipe and then I wipe it on my pants. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Okay, we're using this really cool shape here. See this really cool shape? And we're just going to put that down face up. Stick that to it. And what I'm doing is I'm just using the shape to sort of accent the cards a bunch of times. So what I did is I used it 1, 2, sometimes sometimes 5 times. Sometimes twice, sometimes 3, because I used it in combination with the petal pink. So we'll probably just use it twice on these. How about that? Twice, and then maybe the petal pink will be like, we'll use the petal pink. Okay, so this is So Saffron. Cool little shape. Okay, so when you get all these elements in your stamp set, and just play with them because those make great backgrounds. I mean, you can just make your own. I'm thinking this paper would be great to make your own designer series paper. So after my next series, which I've already sent out an email about, my next series is going to be on Eden's Garden, and that's what I'm delving deep to in December and January. But then in February and March, or actually I'll probably overlap it. December, January. I might do January, February, only because it's part of Sale-A-Bration. But I'm going to do another series. And I'm going to do a card club as well. So I'm going to make cards with Sale-A-Bration items. So that's a card club. And then I'm going to do another series where I delve deep into something. And I'm going to use this one during Sale-A-Bration because this is a really fun one to delve deep into. I'm going to get the odd number later. I like to have an odd number of elements. But because I'm using a few colors for this, I don't need to worry about the odd number yet. Because I'm just doing like sometimes 2, sometimes 3. So when I delve deep into a series, that means I suggest that my customers get the dies, the stamps. I send you some paper. You can use other papers. Maybe some embellishments or whatever you get. And then or else I'll send you embellishments. And then I delve deep into it. And we make 3D projects, etc. So now we're going to get the ink off. See? You can just get the ink off either by wiping it a little bit or just stamping onto a paper. And now we're going to go with petal pink. So when you're going to use the same stamp over, you want to always start with your lighter color. And then you're going to move on to your next lighter color, which is petal pink. It doesn't do it justice. This case for petal pink doesn't do it justice. So now I can get rid of the ink from the So Saffron. Test out the petal pink. See, it's much pinker than it looks. Let's put these in a pile and just go to it. If you're not getting good results when you're stamping, try our silicone mats. They are fantastic. I'll put this closer so you can see it. See the difference between your petal pink So Lorna is saying it's much less painful to do a monthly order. So I missed the earlier conversation. You must be talking about when you're a demonstrator, it's much less painful to do a monthly order, right? I'm sure you're what you're talking about because you get a discount. So then if you're going to order monthly anyway, and so many of my customers do that. They spend more, and I'm like, hello, you can get a discount. And they're like, that's okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just trying to save you money. Actually, I don't get anything when you join. You know, I do get something. I do get a commission when customers order, but not when they join. It's only if they stay with me and become a qualified team member, and then I can start. You know, then I do make something off my team, but not like the beginning. I'm really doing it to save you money because I don't make anything when you get your special. I'm just trying to be like, hello, you just spent more than you could have got the starter kit with what you just spent. And they're like, that's okay. I'm like, all right, well, I had to let you know. Okay, now that I'm done doing the petal pink, I can do the Misty Moonlight. For this one, we must off stamp. It's too dark. Or you could have used this as a sentiment, but I found it was kind of nice to use as, because originally I thought this is kind of like a little dark cloud, right? Like a little, you could do this like if it was a rain, if you're trying to go for the rainy day. There are actually there's little raindrops in this set too. But for this one, not only do I do it like this to stamp off, right? But I think you always need to stamp off because it's too dark, okay? So I'm doing it, stamping off, not only to do my little test, but then also for my cards. Okay, this one needs an odd number, so I'm going to go for that one up there. Okay? And then maybe, okay, let's do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go for 7. Only because it needs a little bit. Yeah. It needs a little bit of something over here. I'm overlapping these. It's okay. So this one, in my opinion, is done. Okay? It's done. It has all the colors now. All the colors except for that granny apple green, which we're going to use on the inside. So now we're going to do, and wherever you have like big gaps later, you can put the embellishments on those big gaps. Like I'm going to put a little gem right there. And I have these really cool gems I've been using. So you'll see if I forget to do an off stamp and how dark that Misty Moonlight will be. But I'm trying to stamp onto my mat each time. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need one more. I like having odd numbers. So we're going to put one over there because I'm going to put a gem over there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one needs another one. Just going back. I don't know what it is about odd numbers. Probably because in nature there are odd numbers. And in a way, this is a nature card here. So maybe that's what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 on there. So we'll call these the blobs. 7 blobs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's already 7. I'm happy with that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Okay, this one will do 9. 8. 9. Okay, and this one has 4, so it only needs one more. So you see how we just transform paper. This is actually called, what I've shown you today is called simple stamping. We've actually done simple stamping, meaning we've just used stamp, ink, and paper. That's what simple stamping is. So you could make a card out of these, out of what I showed you without, I mean, when we add designer series paper and some bling, it's a whole new world. 1, 2, 3, 6. But this is, in essence, simple stamping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. I'm going to do one down there. 7. All right. I'm done all those. Now, for the inside, you want to take, for the inside or any card mats, you want to always make, let's see what size this is. I'm just going to grab my trimmer and see what size this is. Should be 4. Oh, no, it's not. It's not big enough. Let me see if I can't put something down here flat. Okay, better. That's better. Make it flat. So I need 4 inches by 5 1/4. We'll do 2 of these in case I mess it up, but we're not going to do all the inside yet. But that's what I'm going to use. You make me happy for the inside. Then we've used every color. And it's fun to say we used every color in a tutorial. Okay, 5 1/4. You can't see this, but I'm doing 5 1/4, so I'm just writing it down for you. Okay, basic white. I'm going to say DSP. We'll do DSP, and then we'll have to do a few of those. Here, we'll put a little line. We'll do a little line. And then we're going to do this inside, because we'll have to get to the DSP in a minute. So this one is 5 1/4 by 4. I hope my peeps have memorized this by now. This one doesn't change. We always do the 5 1/4 by, say, because the card is 5 1/2. Oops, but I cut it. I cut it wrong. Oh no, maybe that card was wrong. Sorry. Some of my cards weren't very big. That's why. Yeah, that's right. Some of my cards I cut wrong earlier, so I had to do these smaller. But yeah, this is 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so now let's go ahead and do our sentiment. You make me happy. We're going to lay that down. And sometimes if you have a long, here, we either have to clean, you either want to clean your big one here. It's probably better to do a long sentiment with these longer stamping blocks. But if you don't have a larger stamping block, you just, angle your stamping block like that. Okay. But we'll use the long one if we can. We'll just do 2 to the inside. So we're going to tap, tap, tap on the Granny Apple Green. You make me happy. It needs some more conditioning. I've used it a couple times. There. You make me happy. It's right side up. We're going to put that in the inside of the card. Now we're ready to go. If you want to put it at the top of your card, then put it at the top of your card. It leaves more of an area to write a message. Okay, so now we've used every color. Every color that I started out showing you. Every color that's in the Designer Series paper. So now no matter what you do, you can't go wrong with when you cut the Designer Series paper. It doesn't matter which pattern you grab. It doesn't matter what you do, because something is going to match. So at the beginning of this, I showed you okay, that was what the stamp set. I showed you the Designer Series paper. So now I'm going to show you some more things. Okay. But first, let's see. Let's just grab, we're just going to grab, a couple pieces here. This is a good one. This is a good one. So let's say this one would be, okay, this one's already across. Let's see. Let me get my card bases. My card bases are already, these are already done. So we don't have to do that part. But if you want, you're going to take, say, here's my Bermuda Bay, right? My Bermuda Bay. And in one 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, you're going to get 2 cards out of it. They're called A2 cards. But then some of my cards got cut a little short. So let's just use the So Saffron and the Petal Pink are okay. So I think the So Saffron would work here. Let's just do this, just so you don't have to make a card base. This is an A2 card base. Okay? So, and it doesn't matter whether it opens this way or whether it opens this way. It's just a matter of how you score it. Okay? It really doesn't matter for this tutorial. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your card base. This is going to be the same thing. So here, DSP, 5 1/4, same thing. Same thing as the inside, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Your DSP. You're going to put some seal on it. This is called Seal. Seal Plus. You don't need much. It's very strong, but you do need to put it on the outsides. So see how it has little ridges? It's very easy to work with. Our Seal Plus adhesive. I keep loads and loads of refills on hand because I use it all the time. Okay, I'm going to put this on my So Saffron. No, not So Saffron. So Saffron's in the paper. I'm calling it So Saffron, but you guys know what I mean. Not So Saffron. It has the S here. It's what I'm making a card base out of right now. It's So Saffron. Okay, but So Saffron is that color that I kept looking at right in there. So you could see the colors. Mango Melody. You could see the Flirty Flamingo. You could see the Pool Party. You can't go wrong when you do something like this. You already have a matching. Everything's going to match already. So now we need to, You Make Me Happy, put that in the inside. Here, I'm going to put this one in there because that's kind of the typical way we put the sentiments on the inside. We are finishing, what we're going to do is finish just one card, just to kind of give you the concept of how I do my mats and layers. But you would put that big piece of Designer Series paper on the outside. And now you got the inside. So now you need another layer. So you're going to either take, so it doesn't matter which one we take. So let's say this one would be good. No, let's do, I'm trying to think. Do I like a lot of that background showing? Yes. I think I love this background so much I want a lot of it showing. So instead, if I don't want a lot of the background showing, then I would use this bigger piece. I want a lot of this back. This is such a cool background. I think I want a lot of it showing. So one of these smaller ones would be better. And the smaller ones, let's go back up to here. The smaller ones are 4 1/4 by 2 inches. So I therefore need the DSP to be 4 1/2, right? Everything needs to be a 1/4 inch bigger by 2 1/4. Or in this case, it would be 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. But let's just talk about this piece here, the one we're actually making. So and you want to also use one that's not a good background. So you have like these pieces here, and what would not be a good background is like that. That's kind of ugly, but it would make a good matte and layer. Or the other side's a very good background. This is a very good background, so don't waste the other side of that one. So what I want to do is, there was a lot of Bermuda Bay ones, these ones. These ones, this is a putrid background. I don't even like that. That's petal, what's it called? Flirty Flamingo probably. This one, however, is a great matte and layer because it's Bermuda Bay. Look how stark it is. Look how, it's as cool as using cardstock, right? So now that we know that we had to go 2 1/4 by something, 4 1/2. So just do your 4 1/2. 4 1/2. Let's make sure, get all these extra pieces there. Okay. Let's test it as you go. Sometimes it's like, am I doing this right? 4 1/2. Yes. See? I'm getting that 1/4 inch border. And because this was 2, I'm going to go 2 1/4. See? Making sense? Shake your head. Listen to me like I'm teaching in a classroom. Oh no, what did I used to say? Thumbs up. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, here we go. So that's what we do. And now I have another one for later. And there's our card. And I still got to do the bling. Let's do the bling. Okay, we're going to do this though. I mean, this meaning the Seal Plus. Tuck that under. Sometimes it gets out of. Okay, we're going to do this. And if you want more dimension on your card, you can use foam adhesives to pop up the different layers. But this one is going to be very easy to mail because I'm just going to stick it in the mail. It's flat. Now keep in mind the bling that we're about to put on here. You're going to go, whoa, that's some heavy duty bling. So if you're going to use bling as big as I'm going to use, these giant bling, okay, let's make sure you don't put it upside down. Check your sentiment because you can see how that can be deceiving. I've done mounting cards upside down many times. So if you're going to use big bling, you want to put a little piece of paper in your envelope so the bling doesn't poke through. I like having this design series paper because the lines help you arrange it. Okay, so let's get some bling. And then, of course, if this one, so this one would be, right? That's your basic white and your layer for your basic white. And let's go like that. Then you would need a 4 1/2 piece, which we're not going to do because you get the idea, because I see you shaking your heads. Okay, 3 1/4 DSP. So this is for that layer. That's what you would do. So if you wanted, but you don't always need another layer. But say you had, this is the card, I just made this exact card. That's what we just made. But see, if you were doing the other way, meaning, see, like this, right? You understand? If you were going to use this piece that we stamped, then you would need this piece of DSP. 4 1/2. There's your little piece of Misty Moonlight in the background. 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. But you don't have to use a DSP. You don't have to use that other layer of DSP. Here's one without the extra layer of DSP. It's your card, right? Here's one where the DSP was another 1/2 inch bigger. It went all the way out to the edge because I started making cards the wrong size, and then I ended up having these pieces, so I went with it. I'll show you those cards in a minute. I just want to make sure that I get the bling out. And I say hi to you guys. I'm looking for the bling, and I'm looking for some other coordinating products I used. And I need to show you these dies, too. So I have a few more things to do. Hello, Terry, Sherry, Yvonne, Gloria. Gloria, Gloria. I know you probably hear that a lot. Sorry. I couldn't help but start to sing the song. Hello, Pamela, Sherry. Yeah, Yvonne loves the colors, too. It's a cool combination of colors. They did think of something really well when they came up with this suite. They used like color theory when they come up with this. Yeah, you mass produced too, Gloria's saying. Okay, and then I answered Sherry's question about the Stampin' or blocks. And hello, Nola. At Star Project. Okay, she's taking my winter's course. So Janet's taking my winter projects course. Those of you that have a scan and cut, check out my winter projects course. Those of you that have a scan and cut can check out my latest tutorial where I showed you how to make the noses for your paper pumpkin snowman. I guess you call it a snow woman. Later I was looking, I'm like, she has flirty flamingo earmuffs. Maybe it's a snow woman. But anyway, I did show it. I did a scan and cut tutorial recently, and I did a course on scan and cut recently on winter projects. My list for December 1st is ridiculous. She needs to take out a loan, Pamela is saying. Oh, that's funny. I know, because Pamela, what I'm waiting for is them to tell us. Maybe they're going to tell me today as a demonstrator what I'm allowed to order on December 1st. Sometimes it's not everything. Then that's kind of a good thing for me. Jeanne, hello, Judy. Because I want to order everything, and then when they tell me you can only order certain things because they're only in stock, then it's kind of good for me in my purse, my pocketbook. Jamazing, Gigi Mazing, I like your username. Pamela says you have a song for everything. Hi, Judy. All right, so bling. I got distracted. I was trying to find my bling. All right, my bling. This is new bling that you got to just love. It's incredible bling. And it's part of this. I can't open this up right now, and I forgot the name of it, but something about Valentine's Day. It's in this catalog, something about Valentine's Day. Information about my classes, Kathleen, are in the description of this video. Go to my Udemy courses. There's a link that says thepaperedchef.com, or just go to thepaperedchef.com, and there's coupons right now good until December 4th for $9.99 or $10.99 for every one of my courses, and they're usually like $30-something, although they're really always on sale. But anyway, January catalog. There's this bling, and it's in there with this Valentine's suite. I forget what the name of the Valentine's suite. Something about sweet conversations or something. And this bling is in there. It's called Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels. I am in love with these. I'm going to order like 10 packs. I'm going to put them on everything. Look at this. They take on whatever color of your project, like whatever color your project is. So let's take our card and bling it up. Okay, and now look. We're going to do the before and after. So look at this, and now look at this. So what I said is use your little gaps, and that's where you put your bling. Or actually, in this case, there's really not many little gaps. So maybe I'm only going to put one bling on the inside. Maybe we'll put the small bling in there, okay? Because there's really not many gaps to put things. So I'm going to take the small bling, and then I'm going to use one of the medium bling. See? Put that out there. And I'm going to use one of the large bling and put one up there. But don't put it like in the same spot. So maybe up in here in the middle. Dun-dun-dun. Now look at that. Ooh, right? So I did that to every card. So that's where I got those. That was called Iridescent Rhinestone Bling. Now what I was saying though is when you send that in the mail, you want to take a piece of scrap paper, send it in the mail like this. It's still only one stamp, but put it there or it pokes right through the envelope with that bling. So put something there. All right, now, then I said, oh, we got this. You guys were asking me last time when I did an unboxing, oh, can you use this? Can you use this? And I said, well, I'll do an ink it up where we ink this up. I didn't ink it up this time, but I did use this. It's also part of that Sweet Conversations, I think it's called, suite of Valentine's Suite, and it is called the Gingham Embossing Folder. So I ran some things through the Gingham Embossing Folder. You're going to get to see cards run through this folder. That's also in this catalog. And then as I mentioned, I used the Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper from this catalog. That was this. And what else? I used the Seal Plus. Okay, one more thing I want to show you before I show you all my projects is the dies. There's these dies. I didn't use them for my cards, but I did use them for my treat. One treat I made. I'll show you the treat right now and show you how I got this. So I was playing with the dies, and I realized there's this piece of paper, and I was so excited to see this piece of paper here, this piece here, and then I looked at this, and I was like, oh my goodness, check this out. So when I saw this, I said, oh, I wonder if this would fit through there. So this rainbow, these are called Brilliant Rainbow dies. So you can save 10% when you buy a bundle with the Sunshine and Rainbow stamp set and the Brilliant Rainbow dies. Okay, you put this here like this. Check this out. And you cut out rainbow shapes. Is that cool or what? So I'm thinking already I could design a card where I send you the rainbow shapes. So I wasn't even trying to use tape or anything. Of course, I would have used painter's tape to try, but I was just experimenting. Oh, does that work? And I came up with this, and these came out without me even using tape. Look at these little pieces. I was like, oh, I was so happy. Look at all these little, here, let's put them on here. I was like, these fit perfectly, and they die cut, and now I don't have to sit and use cardstock and color paper, and some of them are gonna have white in them if you don't use painter's tape. So painter's tape helps you when you put this on here to get these, so you don't want to get this on the white part, see? Don't let the white show. Here, don't let the white show. Make sure you put it on there and put a piece of painter's tape and you get rainbows. So here's what I did with that. I did a little something to brighten your day, and I made a diaper fold Ghirardelli treat holder with the rainbow. Okay, and these are my rainbows which came out with a little bit of white on. They're fine, but there was just me experimenting. You can see my excitement when I was playing with those dies and saw that it could do that. All right, so those are all the products I used. So now you know how I made these cards. Nothing I'm going to show you is a mystery now, because every single thing I used is all the products I just got done showing you, and we'll leave those measurements there in case you want to take notes. So this is the one we just made, and we just made loads and loads of other cards that we're ready to play with. Okay, so my VIPs are having a special. My VIPs are in a special sale. They're doing some special things this month. They're doing a special bingo. So are my patrons, my channel supporters. I'm going to be able to make lots of little thank you cards for those that attended my events and do things, and those who attend my different things. So anyway, check this out. So here are the ones I made earlier, and you know exactly how I made them now, because I just gave away all my secrets. And I mean, in the end, I didn't even put the. I might open these up and put "You Make Me Happy" inside them now. I might just go ahead and do that while I have the stamp out. And because but one of my cards does say "You Make Me Happy" on the outside. But here's when I was testing with the Bermuda Bay. See how dark it came out? And this was off stamping. This was Granny Apple Green, I think, off stamping. Or see how they just came out dark. It came out fine, but when you stamped the first time with Bermuda Bay, it was really dark. And then sometimes I made the cards a little smaller when I was measuring or cutting, and then I ended up with these pieces of designer series paper that fit right across, and that came out cool too. Mango Melody. Here's one with just a plain white card base. This is just thick, basic white cardstock. When you do that, you don't need anything on the inside. But what would be nice on the inside, since you have so many layers on the outside, is to take a piece of So Saffron cardstock, because it's the lightest color, or Petal Pink. Petal Pink or So Saffron or Soft Seafoam, and put that on the inside for your message, even if you're using a white card. Okay, now we're into the next phase. I told you I started playing with the embossing folder. So now you can step it up. Here's some of my original designs when I was trying to get my things not to be so wonky. My rainbows. I think this needs some little hearts in there. But anyway, I'm not going to add hearts because I put the embossing folder. So this was my original designs. I was playing with it. And then I started doing the rainbow of happy, sending you a rainbow of happiness. But this is Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, too dark in my opinion. Mango Melody, too dark in my opinion. Pool Party was too dark. Everything's too dark. So, but I was trying to lighten it up. So I put a piece of So Saffron around it, and Mango Melody, not So Saffron, Mango Melody around it, and embossed it with that. You know what I mean? The thing I just showed you. This is why I take things out, because I lose things so quickly. I embossed it with the gingham embossing folder, that piece. And then instead of using one piece of designer series paper behind it, I did that. And then these were just too light for me, these stripes. So then I said, let me take the scrap I had, and I put another piece down there. So that's actually another layer. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. Still a very simple card. Now you're stepping it up and you're taking this is Pool Party and the gingham embossing folder. And now you're stepping it up one more level, because you're putting, instead of piece of designer series paper back here, you're just embossing some cardstock. Now Petal Pink always goes well with Pool Party. You never have to worry about those two colors. You know, sometimes even though colors were in the suite, one color didn't look good on the background because there wasn't enough contrast. But these two are baby colors, and they always seem to, go well together. And then here's another time. Here's what I did for this one. This time I took the piece of basic white cardstock I stamped onto. That's one of these. So you can take one of these like this, and you can put it behind your piece of Magenta Madness, and you can run them both through the embossing folder together. Actually, that was a bigger piece. So you could run them both through the embossing folder. So Yvonne's saying, I was on the fence with rainbow stamps and dies, but now that I've seen this, it's a must-have. Thank you, Yvonne. Oh, I've always loved this one, because to me, when I see whimsical, to me, I'm on the fence about all the flowers. I'm like, please, not another flower set. I can't take it anymore. Please stop. And so when I see the otters, there's little baby otters you can get for free. And there was some daffodils I like for my mom. But other than that, I was like, I have to get the ones that aren't flowers. That's why I got this Valentine's and anyway. But that's when I'm never on the fence unless it's about things I already have so many of, like the flowers. I'm like, oh no, why another one? But they said that's why, because they sell. Anyway, back to this. I put these two through together. So you put a little piece of, I don't think I put tape to hold them because I wanted to make sure they embossed evenly. I put this piece on the back of this piece and embossed them together. And then I lifted them up and glued them together. I probably could have glued them together before I embossed them together. But I was just experimenting. And I like how you can emboss the actual background itself. So I might do that to some of these little guys. I might emboss some of them. Okay, still notice I put bling on every one. And then here's the last one where I did a little bit of each thing. I did your basic, your white piece. Then I did your mango melody. And then I almost put this on the background of the mango melody. And I was like, oh no, there's no contrast. Then you take a piece of, I want to give you another trick here. You take a piece of this designer series paper and you put it behind. But here's the trick. I want to show you this trick. And it's just something that's you might not be thinking of when you're trying to save paper. So say you're trying to get this piece and you want to make it a background. And then you're like, but I'm covering it up. What a waste to take this whole thing and cover it all up. So what you can do, this is what I did. I haven't used them yet, but this is what I did, just so you can use the same trick. So somewhere in this pile are my dies. I'm not going to actually die cut right now because when I get all the ink out, I didn't want to die cut because I said, oh, too much stuff on the table. Okay, there's this really cool big die. Here, check this out. So what you can do is stick it back there. Not there, you can't see it, but stick it on this, stick it on here, die cut it, okay? Die cut it so you have lots of rainbow stripes. You'll have at least the granny apple green ones you need. You'll have 4 colors of them, right? Then cut your layer, cut your background. So now you have the best of both worlds. You got this cut out, you got your piece cut out, so you're saving the paper. I mean, it's free paper. Let's face it, it's Sale-A-Bration paper, it's free, but you still want to conserve it because what a waste, you're only showing a tiny 1/8 of an inch back there. So you're going to use this behind it before you make it into a layer. Or you could do it after. You could cut the shape you need. This is like a little bit 1/8 of an inch bigger than my normal layers. And then you're going to cut your rainbow out, and then you have the whole middle missing, but it doesn't matter, you can't see it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this, and then you could take, your extra little pieces, right? And between stamping and these die cut pieces, how fun are these going to be? How fun is it going to be to do extra things with the in-between layers? So you got your layers you can stamp. Then imagine the dimension you're going to add when you put these little guys between your stamp layers if you want. Well, I mean, with the different colors of, right? Stamping and different colors of your rainbow. The possibilities are going to be endless. And then we could do our 3D projects, make cute little treats all year long to brighten people's days. Do some blending. That's what I did with these sentiments here. Little blending, right? And that's all. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, this Ink It Up tutorial. And I hope you enjoyed the new sneak peek of products from our upcoming Sale-A-Bration brochure and occasions. Well, we don't call it occasions catalog anymore. The January to June mini catalog from 2022. Hope you enjoyed these sneak peeks. If you want to see all the things I unboxed the other day, check it out on my YouTube channel. I did an unboxing recently where I showed all these products when I first opened them right out of the box. Thank you, Nikki, for your comment. Thank you, Terry. Yep, pastels for girls and bright for boys. That's cool. You can make your different cards. Thank you, Gigi, Mazin, Pamela, Judy, Kathleen. I hope you found the information about my classes. If not, I'll comment to you later. Okay, bye. That's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Happy shopping. Bye-bye.